In a gaming landscape filled with loud action, loud storytelling, and loud design, routine is a rare kind of horror game. It's quiet, it's cold, and it's patient. Routine doesn't try to overwhelm you with jump scares or explosive set pieces. Instead, it starves you of information, of safety, and of certainty until every step, every noise, every hallway feels like a decision you shouldn't be making. Routine setting the lunar transfer station is one of the strongest parts of the entire experience. This isn't a typical sci fi facility with sleek chrome and clean architecture. Everything here feels analog, retro, grimy, industrial. The visual language is unmistakably inspired by 70s and early 80s British sci fi chunky CRT monitors, mechanical switches, yellowed labels, scratched metal, exposed wiring, and lights that look like they're struggling to stay alive. This isn't a futuristic moon base. It's a workplace, one built for maintenance, crews, technicians, and low budget operations, and that grounding is important. Even before anything goes wrong, the station feels like a place where something could go wrong. It feels fragile, underfunded, a place where no one would notice if a few people went missing. Routine never needs to tell you anything up front about what happened here. The walls tell you, the architecture tells you, the silence tells you. The moon is dead, but it feels like it's watching you. One of the boldest decisions Routine makes is refusing to rush. For the first hour, sometimes longer, the game may feel like it's not doing much. But that's exactly the point. Routine understands something most horror games forget. Fear doesn't come from what you see, fear comes from what you might see next. The pacing is deliberate. Long corridors, quiet mechanical hums, distant clanks that may or may not be real. Routine trains you to examine shadows, to freeze at sounds, to question your own senses. And then when the game finally introduces the androids, it doesn't do so with a cinematic jump scare. They just appear, silently, in the distance, moving with that unsettling mechanical slowness that leaves your brain filling in the terror. Routine practices negative space horror. It scares you with silence, with absence, with questions, and that approach becomes the backbone of the entire game. The androids in Routine are not monsters. They're not creatures. They're not supernatural. They're machines, and that makes them more terrifying. Their design is uncanny. Humanoid, but not human. Human shaped, but not built like us. Their movement ranges from stiff, puppet like steps to disturbingly fluid lunges, and their faces, blank, metallic, emotionless, are a masterclass in unsettling simplicity. Routine's androids don't chase you loudly, they stalk, they wander. They maintain routines, hence the name, which makes them predictable in theory, but unpredictable in practice. Their AI is one of the game's standout strengths. They search, they listen, they adapt, and they kill quickly. There's no prolonged struggle, no forgiving escape window. If one grabs you, you're done. This reinforces the game's core idea. Routine isn't about combat, it's about not being seen. The androids are not enemies you defeat, they're consequences you avoid. Routine employs a minimalist survival design philosophy. You're not armed with rifles or high tech weapons. You have a handheld modular tool, a scanner, a light, a basic defense mechanism, but nothing that makes you feel powerful. Your resources are scarce, your tools are limited, your information is incomplete. This creates a gameplay loop built around exploration, avoidance, environmental reading, stealth under pressure, route planning, minimal guidance. Routine almost never tells you what to do. There are objectives, but they're vague. Markers are rare. The map is confusing by design. You're meant to feel lost because the protagonist feels lost. This design isn't for everyone. Some players will love the immersion, others may feel frustrated by the lack of direction. But Routine is not a guided haunted house. It's a place, and places do not reorganize themselves for your convenience. This commitment to realism enhances the horror, but also creates pacing issues. The game occasionally drifts into slow stretches where progress feels unclear. For some, this deepens immersion. For others, it risks boredom. But whether you love or hate the pacing, there's no doubt it contributes to the game's identity. If you want to understand Routine's power, turn the visuals off and leave the audio on. The sound design carries half the experience, maybe more. The hum of failing power systems, the distant echo of metal shifting, the faint whirring of an android's servos, the near silent footsteps behind you that you pray weren't real. Routine's use of directional audio is phenomenal. You'll hear something to your right, but is it close? Is it above you, below you, or is it just the station settling? There's no music guiding your emotions, no stingers telling you when danger is near. The world is the soundtrack, and it is deeply, unnervingly alive. This is horror through acoustics, through space, through subtlety, and routine absolutely excels at it. Routine doesn't spoon feed its story. There are no exposition dumps, no long dialogue scenes, no cutscenes explaining what happened. Instead, the narrative unfolds through abandoned workstations, corrupted logs, broken machines, personal belongings, structural damage, environmental storytelling. You're piecing together a mystery without knowing if the answers you find are complete or even correct. Routine trusts the player to connect dots. And while this approach creates an eerie, investigative tone, it also means some players may finish the game unsure of what exactly happened. The game leans heavily into ambiguity. It expects you to interpret as much as you observe. Some will find this refreshing, some will find it frustrating, but it's consistent with the game's tone. In routine, clarity is a luxury, ambiguity is survival. By now, it's clear. Routine is a slow horror experience. But even within slow horror, pacing matters. The game excels when slow pacing builds tension, those long, dread filled walks through dark halls where every corner could hide death. But occasionally, the pacing dips too far into stillness, moments where you're wandering, unsure of your objective, times when the world feels empty rather than suspenseful. These moments don't break the experience, but they drag, and they keep routine from reaching its full potential as a perfectly tuned horror journey. It's great, often brilliant, but imperfect. As you reach routine's endgame, the narrative sharpens, the tension peaks, and the final encounters blend everything the game's taught you: stealth, observation, patience, and fear. Without spoiling specific scenes, the ending maintains the game's tone, unsettling, ambiguous, and grounded in realism rather than spectacle. Some players will want more answers, some will want more closure, but the game ends the way it plays, quietly, chillingly, and without comfort. Routine is not for everyone. It's not fast, it's not loud, it's not cinematic, it's not packed with set pieces or scripted scares. Routine is atmosphere distilled into game form, a slow, deliberate, tension driven horror experience that rewards patience, immersion, and attention to detail. Its strengths: phenomenal atmosphere, brilliant audio design, unsettling androids, a uniquely retro futuristic world, masterful environmental storytelling, unforgettable tension. Its weaknesses: pacing issues, unclear direction at times, occasional stretches of emptiness, slow progression. But despite its flaws, routine stays with you. It leaves an impression that few horror games manage, and for that, it earns a solid 8 out of 10. A haunting, atmospheric, unforgettable sci fi horror experience that lingers long after you stop playing. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this review, leave a like and subscribe for more gaming reviews. See you next time.